even when I'm about to make a score, just harboring a little bit of resentment towards the busting up of the PGA Tour, where they're scrambling trying to find some identifiable commodity, one of whom would be Rory McIlroy. If they could get McIlroy, they get to a kind of semi-Tiger Woods kind of stature in terms of winning. It would certainly be a pleasant transformation for them than trying to sell Scotty Scheffler, who the only time he got anybody excited is when he got arrested. He was dragging that cop around like he was Randy Moss, which was a bullshit thing. I mean, when you really look at it, how does it? I understand that not everybody would recognize Scotty Scheffler, but you're a cop who's assigned to kind of monitor the traffic at the gate going into the golf course, and you're going to go ahead and give this guy a hard time and take him away in handcuffs? Get the fuck out of here. He's leading the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
He's 2 feet from the gate. You couldn't just wave him in?
The whole thing was
He's hanging onto the car door like he's surfing. That was ridiculous.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Probably should have started with taps, huh, Lubie? This July 4th will be particularly significant. It will be the last one where we celebrate our independence. After what happened yesterday, my God. Who in the right mind? I mean, think about this. There you go.
Sorry, I just forgot.
I mean, you have the Supreme Court ruling that one guy. I mean, I know they had a ruling in the Nixon Watergate thing many years ago. What, 1972 was that? Somewhere in there. But nonetheless, I mean, how this happened yesterday, why would you anticipate that the president would be brought up on criminal charges unless he already was a known criminal like this guy? Right? I mean, have we ever seen any kind of prosecution for a president?
No.
Trying to take out some terrorist or, of chasing Obama. I mean, not Obama, Osama bin Laden, Obama. They will be chasing Obama once they get in office. My God.
There's never been a need. Literally, the Supreme Court's never even heard this because it's not needed. There's no need for
There's no need, right? I mean,
if you're doing some shit with war, and that's what's funny about the right, who are for some reason excited about this, which I don't understand. Whoever the president is, this is a bad thing.
Imagine making a ruling, or even have a rule about not being able to criminally prosecute the president of the United States. I mean, why would that ever be applicable for the most part? I mean, unless the guy did something so outrageous that you couldn't ignore it.
The Trump stuff, no one questioned anything he did, and even the wartime stuff always involved personal gain for him because he doesn't do anything without personal gain. But even no one on any side, when he did anything with this country or that country or this war or that war, no one questioned him. Like, as a president, you are presumed to get immunity because that's just sort of the job. However, there was always the idea that you're not above the law, so you do in the back of your mind have to sort of consider what you're doing.
Right. And if you're operating a criminal enterprise where you're trying to shake down the president of the Ukraine because you want information, dirt on Hunter Biden. So you're telling him you're going to hold up military aid. Is that official business? Because he was talking about military aid.
Well, that's the thing I love the idea. They're like, and people running, well, it's not the end, but it's sort of the end. The fact that both Sotomayor and Jackson said, yeah, this is the end. Like, the Supreme Court justices, even when they're dissenting, are always very politically.
Well, the other guys were on the phone with their travel agent trying to coordinate their next safari to Africa. That was being paid for by this ridiculous, wealthy Republican backer that seems to own like several members of the Supreme Court.
I love like. When he first got elected, everyone was telling me to calm down, and because I was losing it, and I was right. Obviously,
the remnants of his filth are still very much in play.
Well, and he's right.
I didn't think he could do this much damage to the country in the 4 years that he was in office.
I didn't look. The idea is even the worst president, Jimmy Carter, George Bush II, even Reagan, who was horrible domestically.
Yeah.
The worst president. We're still here after, and we can rebound because we had before. The reason I was upset with Trump was because I knew he didn't care at all. If you don't care at all, you can do some really interesting shit. And that's what he did. He set it up where even if he lost the presidency, the justice system was going to be so fucked that he'd be okay regardless. And you'd have a
And these are
subsequent election.
lifetime appointments. I mean,
Yes.
it's so scary.
It's fucking weird.
And it'll only get worse now. I mean,
Yeah.
why couldn't Biden have just shown up to this debate and said, you know what, Donald, what are you going to do about it? To everything that, this guy said, instead of looking like a zombie there and then stumbling and bumbling and fumbling his way through it, my God. No, that was frightening again yesterday. But we don't want to dwell on the negative here. But enjoy your July 4th, everybody, as we once again celebrate what was once American independence.
Yeah.
Because that's about to go right out the fucking window here. I mean, tell some woman on the 4th of July that unfortunately is in medical need of an abortion.
Yeah.
And she happens to be living in, what is it, Idaho?
Yeah.
Which state is it that is like the most right-wing fascist on this issue? My God. Telling people what they can do with their bodies.
Nothing's fucking crazy.
Never mind. Yeah, I mean, and the Bible study will be good for your kids, Lubie.
Yeah.
I really think they'll benefit.
I just love
those stories are still relevant today. All of those fairy tales in the Bible, unbelievable. I don't want to condemn the good book, but
but I don't want my kids having to learn it in school.
Right.
It's a parent's choice to teach it however or wherever they teach it, or send your kid to a private school where
send them to a Catholic school where it's a big part of it.
I don't want that for my kids. It's so funny because the starting of this country was to get away from dictators
exactly
and kings, and now because they like Trump so much, want Trump so much, they're happy that he's going to be king. And it's so weird because no matter what your nation was, you always thought further down where I still don't want a king. I like Obama. I like Clinton. I still don't want them to be king. I still want there to be checks and balances. Like that was literally the tent, even in the middle of slavery and all the shit this country had when it started. There still was checks and balances. And there's a reason for that. And the fact that one side's like, well, he's our guy. Thank God he's free. It's like,
oh my God,
why are you thinking like that? Like, why would you even like if there's a question about that tells you something. It's just fucking scary.
I was watching again. I guess I did the usual thing you do on Netflix, which is you click around and you look at like 100 different shows. They all look interesting, and you end up watching some mafia show. So, and I've seen this piece before, the John Gotti thing, but there are startling similarities to what's happening with the Trumpster and John Gotti. Where I mean, he had all this adulation because of the fact that he was a fucking criminal, unbelievable. But anyway, very scary. I'm a little upset about that. I'm going to enjoy this July 4th immensely.
Yeah, maybe the last one. It's not like that's
too old to really be well, but you want the world to be okay for your children, your children's children.
You thought
their children.
That's what you thought. You thought people wanted the world to be good for them and the future generations. They don't. That's not the case. They only
these are the same people that adamantly deny anything about climate change.
Yep.
And are willing to go back and do everything they can to destruct, and take apart whatever protections we might have from even more damaging things. I mean, look at it. You got a Category 5 hurricane in like April,
in fucking June. Like, come on, man.
We're laughing about it, but I mean, when you look at the devastating effects of these things, and you're thinking that there are going to be many more of them coming our way, and they're more intense than ever. Just like all of these storms we saw in the Midwest this year, it's insane to look at that and go, well, no reason to have any concerns. Oh, fuck, Lubie. Thank God, man. I'm hitting a big number.
I'm
where many people are checking out. I do want to say that we were only kidding. My buddy Steve Lappa did not trade out his funeral and did not sell advertising. Didn't sell advertising on his coffin.
I love that you feel the need to actually explain that.
People were so mad at me. It was like, I mean, if you're making that up, Defo.
You're making that.
Of course I was making it up. It was actually a tribute to the man, because that would have been something that you could see. A good, true, false question has to depend on the fact that it could go either way.
Yes, 100%.
And with this guy, then that easily could have been possible, as preposterous as the notion is. Trading out the funeral, I could see, right?
Why not?
The stations that he ran always were appealing to that demographic. 90 plus. It's great. Well, we're number one. Mutant Pygmies, 90 plus. Okay, we're number one then.
Yeah, number one.
That would be in the promo. Your number one station.
Exactly.
Here in South Florida. All right. Wow, Lubie. All right, we have a lot of things to get into. Rino is going to join us. Rino Cerbone is going to join us. Scheduled to join us about 8:30 today. I believe he will be
Should today, yes.
on the show. And certainly, I mean, when somebody punks out on you or lets you down or whatever, if they come back and it's totally viable what they said, that you were thinking it was more of an imposition that we put on him to think that after the Stanley Cup celebration, he was going to get up at 8:30 on a Monday, which is a day that he normally wouldn't be working at all, right?
Yep.
He had to be passed out. Do you think he even went to bed by 8:30 yesterday?
I have no idea. I know that he was at the parade a little, I guess, but he left because it was raining. But he still Heritage is not far from there, so I'm sure they went back, and they're open Sunday, so I'm sure they went back there, and people were partying and hanging out. And I mean, this is like Luongo's enjoying this as much as anyone. Like I love watching how happy Luongo is. Like
very intense. Yeah, he was. I saw him. I noticed him on the ice after the cup was secured there by the Panthers with that Thrilla and Manila 2-1 victory. I don't think we mentioned yesterday. Your man Sam Reinhart re-upped his deal there with the Panthers and got himself a substantial piece of cake. The money in the NHL, a lot of people are considering staggering, and then it really does look like chump change, considering what they do and go through physically. And don't miss any games. Do you ever hear an NHL player going, "No, Barkov's not playing tonight. Load management. Load this."
Exactly.
Is what they say. Imagine it. I mean, there's a term you will never hear that applies to some sports that will never apply to the NHL, will it? Maybe if they brought back Gordie Howe or something from the dead, I don't know. But do you ever think you'll hear a player say, or knock on the coach's door and go, "You know what, coach? Sit me down for about 12 games a year."
Yeah, exactly.
You imagine?
No, in hockey.
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding me?
They would stuff that guy in the Stanley Cup and throw him right into the Atlantic with a one-way ticket to Havana. Get the fuck out of here. Set him free in the Gulf. So, a lot of money being doled out, a lot of free agency taking place, many, many different signings. A lot of players change teams. The NHL is the Wild West when it comes to this stuff, much more so than the NBA, even though the NBA has been crazy. And we suggested earlier this morning that Money Mayweather would be the commissioner of the NBA because it is reigning capital right now in the National Basketball Association.
Oh, yeah.
It's not our money. Certainly don't begrudge anybody what they're capable of making. I don't know. I mean, look, this is all based on revenue sharing principles and mathematical permutations that are still paying the players a percentage. I think they get the majority of it by a slight margin, no? Players versus management.
Maybe.
In the NBA, how does that work? Is it like a 60-40? What kind of split do they have?
I think it's like
50 something to 40s, and like close, right?
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
All right. So what does the club have? The club has all the administrative things, the travel, all these expenses, facilities, coaches, all of this other shit. But I mean, what are they making per year? The teams are they making any money? Is there anything left over? They're paying the starting five now in the Celtics $200 million essentially. Right? You have Brown and Tatum are now making 50+ million next year.
Yes.
Holiday just got his deal upped, as did Derek White, and one other Celtic player.
Porzingis,
yeah, $30 million. Yeah,
he didn't play
for not even playing. Yeah, starting five, 100 and maybe 200 million. I don't know what
the salary cap for the season is 150. That's only that, and they're gonna field 10. They're gonna field 12 guys. They're gonna play 8 to 9. They're gonna play 10 to 11 regularly, at least in the regular season. So, like, I'm so confused at how I understand the NFL has a hard cap. You can't go over it. I know the NBA has a soft cap where they've now made it a little bit more difficult with the first and a second apron to really try and make it punitive. But it seems like ball clubs don't care. Like what the Knicks just did, what the Warriors used to do, and they're sort of getting away from that right now because they're not winning. What the Celtics are actively doing right now, to me, goes totally against a salary cap. I understand there's a bird right, so don't lose every star. But the idea is you're not supposed to be able to keep everyone. Like the idea is it's over. Like
these exceptions are almost incomprehensible, and yet I mean they almost seem irrelevant, right? Wasn't the mid-level exception like $5 million? Remember, they were always talking. Well, the Heat should use the $5 million on so and so.
Yep.
I was like, $5 million? That doesn't even buy you a ball boy anymore. In the NBA, it's crazy. I mean, staggering numbers, no doubt. I mean, the changes that were made, your man James Harden stays with the Clippers, ensuring that the Clippers will probably never do anything of significance there. That Steve Ballmer is going to blow his brains out courtside one day when the Clippers get eliminated again in the first round. The 76ers with Paul George, interesting acquisition. And you saw Hartenstein go from the Knicks to Oklahoma City. Some people would consider that relatively insignificant, but considering that Robinson is always injured, and that's AI shouldn't be for artificial intelligence, which we shouldn't be worried about artificial intelligence because the real concern in America today should be natural stupidity, no? That's true. I may have stolen it. I think I did. Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
It's very true. Whoever said it, they're right. That's 100% our problem.
Yeah, but always injured. I mean, you had this label. AI in the NBA is always injured. And you have many people that come under that category.
Yes.
And they're still doling out phenomenal amounts of money to employ these guys and then maybe take advantage of their scarcely available services. But you need to be available. I mean, that really is a giant key. And then, as we were talking about, load management in hockey versus the NBA. So what do they tell these guys as they're giving them like $60 million? Oh, okay, we'd like you to play 60 games if you could.
What do you mean? That's the big.
You mind showing up to some of the practices too? I mean, that would be a demonstration of team unity.
For the Heat with Butler is going into last year, the Heat wanted him to play more games and be more into it, and he played like less than he's ever played, and
was completely indifferent. Yeah.
That's why they weren't running to give him the extension, and that's why he came out and said he's not signing one. Yeah, because the Heat weren't offering it. Because he won't cop to a games played clause. Like he won't. He wants to be able to get all the money in the world and still want to play 60 games. And yeah, I look, I don't side with owners much these days, but yeah, come on. I mean, like
you sign a contract to play 82 games. They give you $40 million, let's say, in Jimmy Butler's case. Something in that range. Is he making 30, 40, 50? I don't know.
No, he's making like 50 now. I mean, he's not going to make that much
money. I know. I understand. 82 NBA games played across 7, 8 months, maybe 7 months.
Yeah.
You have to be at a pretty high physical level of conditioning to be able to do that, even if you're only playing 20 minutes a game. It's a pace that is insane.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, you should get paid, but I mean, if you're signing up for 82 games, don't you play the 82 games if you can? I mean,
look, if you can, if you're hurt, if there's back-to-backs and you're older, whatever. I'm not saying I get it. It's come down to the point where if you play 70 to 75, people are happy. Fine.
Okay, maybe understandable in certain circumstances with scheduling, and maybe you're nursing some kind of nagging injury or whatever. You just don't want to aggravate it further. So they give you a night off. It's understandable the way that the thing's set up. But not to the point where it's preordained. Hey, I'm only going to play 58 games.
Yeah, get out of here. I mean, I'm sorry. Like that's, and it's fine. I would take him, but why would you break the bank for that? And then
how long does this bubble last before the? You were talking about it yesterday, Lubie. But before this, is there a ceiling to this financial madness that's going on?
I think
where you were saying TNT. We were talking about that. TNT drops out.
Oh, the ratings
because the rights fees aren't justified by the return.
The ratings are horrible. I mean, and the playoffs. You hope that the playoffs will bring better ratings. The playoff games themselves sucked. So I can't imagine that the playoff ratings were good.
Yeah, I mean, a network that's got Matlock as its number one show, as its number one show.
Yep, and
they're getting out of this.
There will probably be a zenith, and it will. That's what. Look, hockey got to a point where their contracts were fucking nuts, and then they didn't have the money to back it up, so they slowed down. And I think at some point you'll see that with the basketball because the ratings are just not there. They're not. The interest isn't there like it once was.
No, and. Yeah, especially, like you say, I mean, they have a lot of different problems related to that. But nonetheless, it sure looks like a lucrative business. All right, we were talking about this on our morning briefing today, and rarely would we introduce this topic, although on this show, we've come under considerable scrutiny for the fact that we seem to have an asinine opinion on the game of soccer. I don't even want to call it. It is a sport in that, I mean, the exertion of energy, meaningless, wasted energy, proportionate to actual significant activity is insanely out of balance.
Meaningless, wasted energy. That's the
Back and
problem. Is
forth,
like,
back and forth, back and forth. The guy makes a brilliant move. He dribbles the ball between 6 different guys, while doing a full cartwheel. Picks up the ball on the run on the outside there, and then some guy just sticks a foot out, like the aforementioned Matlock. Or it was Barnaby Jones used to do that, right?
okay,
Where Barnaby Jones was chasing down some sprinter.
you just put
And then somehow he'd leverage his position, and he'd end up at a building where the guy was running towards him and didn't see him, and then he would stick a foot out and trip him up. And that's how he caught the guy. And that's what happens in soccer, right? Some schmuck that's not even involved in the. You just had a spectacular run, and the guy's flying on the outside, and you're asking yourself, geez, how come I don't appreciate this game? And then everything happens, comes to a very, very convincing conclusion that this is why I hate the game, because after all that, nothing fucking happened.
Yes, and again, it happens in hockey too. I get it, but if hockey feels like
Hockey picks right back
more
up, though.
there. It feels like there's
Immediately.
more there.
Yeah.
It feels like there's just a lot more happening, at least to me. And I get to wear American or Canadian.
No, the ball goes back to the goalie.
Soccer
Takes his gloves off. He scratches his ass. He lights up a cigarette. And then he's got the ball there. Nobody's anywhere near him. And then he goes, okay. And he tries to decide whether to roll the ball, kick the ball on the ground, take it to the side, punt it, or just set it up. And then a half hour later, take a running, flying start. And like he was Pete Gogolak, send one out to the center of the field.
Look, there's plenty of things that I don't understand about soccer, and soccer, legitimate soccer fans will give me shit for it. I can watch the international events, and I get just because of any one goal.
How are there not more concussions in this game?
There are a lot. No, but they wanted them to start wearing headgear.
How are there not more broken noses? I mean, when all those guys go up and they do like the free kick, and then they all go up and they're all like just their heads are flying around like they were Rockman there in the Holyfield fight.
Yes.
Unbelievable. All right, we don't want to impugn the integrity of the game there, but I mean, how come we suck, Lubie? When is this going to happen? I was telling a story earlier too. I mean, I'll never forget it too. It was Sam Lefrak City, and he says to me that he feigned interest in what my future was going to be, even though I was waiting tables and doling out. By the way, French service. I didn't know how to do it at first, and I may have dropped an entire Caesar salad, anchovies included, in some lady's lap. That was sitting at the Sea Wayne Country Club, a very ritzy country club in Hewlett Harbor in New York. And Lefrak, though, was a member, and of course he had Lefrak City, and he told me if I wanted to be a sportscaster, the thing that I should do, Jim Sarney will greatly appreciate this. This is 1972, 73, somewhere in there, Lubie. And he says to me, you really ought to study up on soccer.
Yeah, okay.
And I thought, this motherfucking tenement-owning piece of shit. No. I don't think I thought quite like that at that time, but anyway, and I thought he was crazy. I thought he was absolutely out of his mind. And then soccer kind of was forced, on me when I came to South Florida here for the first time, because outside of the Dolphins, the next biggest thing, even though it wasn't all that big, were the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. And they were playing at Lockhart. I don't know, did they draw like capacity crowds? They had a really interesting bunch of players. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
That used to get decent popular from what I've heard. Like there was a cult following from the way like people talk about it.
We were trying to make it real compared to what, I guess, the way the song goes. We were trying our best to, great, this is even better. Let's introduce you to some of our fine sponsors. Now we're going to come back with the great Rino Cerbone, who made history. And I think forever what will be the symbol of the Stanley Cup Championship.
Yes, that is what the world shows. They show the parade now, and they show him.
The picture will be in the Hall of Fame. The video, I would imagine, is invaluable. And I'll see if he retained any rights.
Whenever people eat there, that's how they want their Parmesan cheese presented to them.
He should have the Stanley Cup special.
Rocked going forward after that display.
Can't you buy a bunch of, like at the dollar store, a bunch of replica Stanley Cups and use them as dishes somehow? That'd be awesome.
Actually, it's an interesting move if he starts putting out his bolognese in the goddamn
fucking... Bolognese comes in a Stanley Cup. It's great, and you get a signed picture of Luongo, and it's only $100, the whole package. All right, we're coming back with Rino Cerbone, our favorite hockey analyst, and now a world-renowned celebrity. In a moment. Now that.
The time.
That was an amazing thing. It's 8:31. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Draisaitl down to our right, Forsling in the corner. He'll try. Fans to their feet. Bouchard has missed Draisaitl down to our right, Forsling in the corner. He'll try and hold this. 10 seconds left. 2-1 Panthers. A dream 30 years in the making is a reality. Whoa! The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. Lord Stanley is coming home. You always will have a place in South Florida. Oh my God! The Panthers have won the Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history. Yeah! Start the celebration, South Florida. The Panthers have done it. Stanley Cup champions!
A very subdued Bill Lindsay there doing the color analysis. He's entitled. He really is. Welcome back to the show. Good to have you guys with us. We want to get right to this as we welcome to the program now the star of all Stanley Cup festivities and probably the orchestrator and engineer of the greatest Stanley Cup party that we've ever seen and presentation, Rino Cerbone, owner and chef at Heritage Restaurant in Fort Lauderdale, where I mean, this was great. I'll let you tell the story because was this impromptu? Or was this somewhat planned? I mean, you had to know that your brother-in-law, Roberto Luongo, was coming there. And just how did this unfold where you ended up serving him pasta out of the Stanley Cup? And you, like you were in that commercial where the guy is grating the cheese and he puts a big pile of I've never seen a guy grate cheese any better than that. That was, you must have been offered some cheese grating jobs somewhere. My God.
So first off, good morning, you two fucking knuckleheads. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Good morning, both of you.
We have to applaud this. I mean, when one of our guys makes fucking history.
Brought it up.
Oh my God!
So that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it was completely impromptu, and actually, it's actually funny. We were he calls me up in the morning, and he goes, "Hey," he goes, we're gonna be in Fort Lauderdale today." He's like, "Would it be a chance that we could get to Heritage?" Now listen to this. I actually told my brother, I'm like, "I'm fully booked tonight, guys." I'm fully booked tonight, guys.
He said, "I'm fully booked."
I'm kind of full. Keep
I'm
it
like,
up.
I'm like, I can't shove you guys in there. I'm like, I don't have the space and like whatever. And he goes, "Oh man," he's like, "All right, whatever." He's like, "Let me call you back." So Bill Zito's good friends with there's another restaurant around town called Livy. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. And it's a great guy. I know the owner myself. His name is Anthony Licata. They have a nice big outdoor space. Like, I'll tell you what, go over there and I'll just stop by. I just want to see you and the families. My sister was going, the kids were going, so I just, whatever. So it was from between 6 to 8. And I had a little bit of time during my rush, and I just snuck over there because I just wanted to hang out with my family, to be honest, and just say hello. And as we're there, me and Bill Zito are talking, and he goes, "Yeah, this is fun, right? Cheers, cheers, cheers." He goes, "All right, let's hurry up. Let's bring this fucking thing to your place." And I was like, "What?" And I was like my brother. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We're gonna go." He's like, "We're gonna surprise you, but let's go." And I was like, "Fuck." So I get over there. So I run back over there, and I'm like, "Holy shit, the place is mobbed." I'm like, "Where am I gonna stick them? My place is small, you know."
Yeah.
Where am I gonna stick them? I open up the garage door. Well, first I'm waiting for my brother, and I see him like all of a sudden. I'm like, "All right, I think I have a couple minutes." And as I'm like thinking I have a couple minutes, I see him walking right across the street with this fucking Stanley Cup. Open the garage door. I have these two big garage doors. I open up the garage door. I put the seats outside, and sure enough, as soon as people saw him, they were standing up, applauding. It was such a beautiful interaction between him and fans. People were going nuts. They were screaming. They didn't care. There was commotion. I was even at one point. I was even going to. I was like, "I'm sorry for the commotion, guys." Like, you kidding me? This is amazing. We have pasta, we have pizza, we have cocktails, and the Stanley Cups in the house. So everybody was happy, even though it was a little nuts. It was a nice surprise, and it was just really, really, really magical. There's a big deal for my family. My brother-in-law being obviously, Hall of Famer, and didn't get to win one as a player, even though he came close. It's awesome to know that he was a part of building this team to build one. So, yeah, comes inside. Before that, let me tell you about the pasta idea. It was actually,
how did you come up?
Yeah, because I'm thinking
I'm gonna tell you,
that was classic.
we were thinking about all kinds of things to do, but what we really wanted to do was, and we did it also. We ate pizza off it also. A nice plate. So the Stanley Cup, you see the Stanley Cup, and you just see it being used as a table as pizza. So we did that with me and my family. But as I was telling them at the other place that we were going to do this, I ran into a guest of mine, and we're sitting. He's watching us talk about what we're going to do, whatever, and. The guy who watches the Stanley Cup, not Phil, the guy that you see all the time with the long hair, the other guy that watches the cup that goes along with them too, because they were both there.
Okay.
We're sitting there, we're laughing about what we're gonna do, and a guest goes, "Rino, put pasta in it. Put pasta in it." And I was like, I go, "I know it's sterling silver. Can I put pasta in it? I don't want to ruin it." They go, "You can do whatever you want today." Whatever you want. I was like, "Fuck it." I was like, "We're putting bolognese in this bitch."
So that was the bolognese, because I got hungry just looking at it.
It was bucatini bolognese. So we ate pasta
Nice.
and pizza off the Stanley Cup. Just so happens that the pasta one went viral. And it was, listen, everyone's drinking out of it. Everybody's doing shots out of it. Oh, stop. Let's see pasta out of that bitch.
Any strippers? Did you bring in any strippers? Any clowns? Anything?
No strippers from this one. All the strippers were too tired or they were getting set up for that night, because as the thing is at my place, funny ass story. Now it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. The two Stanley Cup guys are just like, "Oh," he's like, "Okay, Rob," he's like, they're asking my brother-in-law, "We got to go to the next place. It's in Miami. I wonder how long it's gonna be. Do you guys know a place called 11?" I was like, "Oh, you put 3 up the Alpine night. You're going to a titty bar tonight." It was insane. It was insane. They're like, "Oh,
that was great."
I guess we're not sleeping," because then they had to catch a flight the next morning at 6 a.m. to go to Vegas for the awards and the draft.
Who took the video and the cheese grating was beyond classic. I mean, as good as Kachuk's stop of that puck going into the potential empty netter in Edmonton when he's all out on a dive, you were all in.
You got to be all in.
So how the video and then the distribution at this? Are you not getting offers for lead roles in movies or anything?
No, not yet.
Nothing.
Maybe
Okay.
Not yet.
Did you hire an agent? Have you hired representation?
You know what? I do. I've been looking for an agent for a long time, because I've been told I need my own show, and I'm looking for an agent. So I'm calling all agents. If you want the next fucking Anthony Bourdain / Gordon Ramsay with a little shittier attitude, it's me. Yeah, no, it worked out to be amazing, and some people were freaking out. What I did was I double lined the bowl, so this way, it's sterling silver. The Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
like, be careful. Like,
it was in the ocean.
Right, and you know what they had to do? They had to grab it right away, and they had to wipe it with a special chemical solution,
Yeah.
whatever, so it doesn't start pitting, right? So I was like, I go, that's all I need now. I'm gonna fucking ruin the Stanley Cup. The acid from the tomatoes is gonna make this thing start pitting and wipe some of the names off. So I double lined it with a bowl just in case. Also, so this way hockey fans would get crazy upset. But it was a lot of fun, man. This is really magical. And who took the video? It was a guest. I believe it was a guest who took that. Like that video was like, you got to have this video. And I'm like, trust me, I'm sure I'm gonna have it one way or another. And yeah, we shared it, and my brother-in-law put it up, and next thing I know, next morning it was viral.
Were you amazed at this reaction? And what did you get any feedback from people around the world? I mean, right now you're being viewed by our good friend Mike Nyman in Bali. He's over there watching this shit.
Yeah, that's funny.
And it's an honor to think that somebody that would be in such an exotic, place would be watching this show.
We're giving shit about bowling days out of a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. What kind of feedback? Obviously, it had to be hysterical. I mean, in terms of good, the feedback that you got on this thing.
It's been great. Social, it's funny. When you hear about videos going viral, this is like the second or third time I went viral. You hear video, you see videos like right now. You got the big Hocktool girl all over the place, and you're like, I wonder how her and her father feels about that video that it went viral. But my brother-in-law posted. I'm like, yeah, man, we're gonna get some hits. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun. You didn't think it was gonna be like that, but. And then you think about it, and you're like, wait a minute, why wouldn't it go like that? You just won the Stanley Cup, and people are doing crazy shit with it. So you know what? It's unbelievable, believable at the same time, and it's awesome because you read the comments, people send you comments, and people message you, and everybody is just really, really awesome right now. Florida's electric. I don't know if you guys saw the parade.
I was happy to be watching that on TV.
Yeah, the parade was.
It looked like a fucking mess. Although it did kind of clear just enough while the buses were coming down.
And you're wrong. No. Let me tell you something. I rolled up. I was supposed to be on the buses, right?
Yeah.
With my family. I rolled up, and I was like, not a fucking chance. No, I'm shooting outside. I'm not going to be stuck on this thing for 3 hours. I don't give a shit. I didn't win the Stanley Cup. You did, bro. I'll catch you after. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay and watch the speeches. Guess what? Started shitting more, and I'm like, fuck that. I'll watch it on TV also. I got to go to work. But at the same time, even though it was a shit show, it was really, really, really nice to see everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So happy. The turnout. I mean, it was
a lot of young people too in the crowd. A lot of young people.
Yes.
Very young crowd.
Every kind of person, young, old.
Typical demographic for hockey. What was like some old Jew like me from Brooklyn?
A nice little old Jew like you from Brooklyn.
That watched the original six.
You're being a little too loud. Calm down. But no, it was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, the elbow room is a place I consider to go get an orthopedic exam.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nice kosher environment.
A nice young crowd. I mean, it really was. And now, I know Lubie's got some stuff for you too. But have you seen any kind of spike in business or anything at the restaurant? Did it do anything in that regard?
Spike.
I mean, you're always packed, but
always busy. Always busy.
I'd say a spike. I really didn't pay attention if there was a spike in business. I mean, business was the same, but there was definitely, especially on Sunday with the parade, there was definitely a lot of Panther fans that were coming in and really, really excited that the Stanley Cup was even there a few nights before. Like they were crazy as if it was coming in again, but they were just like, it's so awesome that it was here. Blah blah blah. And like I said, just the vibe. Like even a week later, people are still just in heaven with this, including myself. And I'm just so proud of the guys. They come into the restaurant. Obviously my brother-in-law being family, I'm extremely proud of him. But I'm really, really proud of the guys because there's a belief. There was a belief in that room that was never swayed, even in the face of crazy adversity when it looked like they were going to shit the bed and have the worst upset in history. So it's just a really magical time. I get why Bill Lindsay almost had a fucking stroke. I get it.
Were you at Game 7?
Fucking right, I was.
You were nice.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. It was amazing and miserable at the same time. I didn't say a word. I didn't leave my seat. I didn't want to talk to nobody. There was no celebrating after the goals. It was just like a goal happened. I did a sign of the cross. And I'm like, oh my God, please. I go, God, I know you don't give a shit about sports, but just tonight, cut us off fucking break, please. Like, please. Yeah, it was very, very stressful, intense. But when that buzzer went, there was no yelling and screaming. I just looked up and I was like, God, thank God. Or else this would have been such a heartbreak for this city. So it was just thinking about it again. It just like gives you the goosebumps. Really
Well,
awesome.
look, and I'll full disclosure, because of we were really high on them, and we were talking to you during the wins, and then
Yeah.
I left you alone when they started losing,
Yeah.
and it got real dark here, and we
Yeah.
were talking about who's going to hit the drum for Game 7.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even trying to be rude to Roberto. It was just like they're in such a losing way right now. Like,
Yeah.
I want guys that have, done the winning down here in South Florida. So we're thinking Pat Riley or exposed for Dwayne Wade. And again, it wasn't disrespect to Roberto. It was just like they're in such a weird place right now. You want to shake it up, and who will get the crowd amped? But those guys, and I was very wrong because you're. And also that's the other thing is Roberto, from what we've known, and you've said he's reserved, blah 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 blah. He's been shot with fucking cocaine the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've never seen that guy so jacked ever. The way he hit that drum, I was standing on my fucking couch with my dog, my husky, fucking freak. I'm like, if these guys don't go out and hit the shit out of these guys after that, I was wrong.
He could have been with your heavy metal band.
He was
listen,
amazing.
His arm almost went through that fucking drum, first of all. And the best thing was, he told me that morning that he was gonna do the drum, and I was like, all right. I'm like, fucking cool, like whatever. I thought he was gonna do something a little slick, funny, and and he came out there, like you said. I'm like, what did they give you? What steroids? What do they hop you up on? And when I see him on the jumbotron and I saw his mouth go, let's fucking go. I was like, oh my God, he lost it. I loved it. This is amazing. Yeah, he was like, let's fucking go.
He was great, man.
Like,
comes out with the bottom triplets. I mean, it was fantastic.
Amazing. I think at one point, like his adrenaline was so high, I think I saw him get dizzy for a second. The blood just rushed to his head all at once. But you know what? It was awesome that he was able to do it and able to jack him up. I think I see what you're saying with like maybe a Pat Riley or something like that. But I think because he was there and he's been there, and I think for us especially too, like you want to talk about a dark time. I've seen him lose a Game 7. It is the worst, and people, you have all these little keyboard fucking tartlets that wanna go on there and talk shit and like whatever. Let me tell you something. Athletes, they go through a lot, and watching him lose the Game 7, it really damages you for a long time, and you have to find a way to come at peace with it. And when we were shit in the bed those 3 games, there was 2 parts of me that had 2 feelings. Number one, Bob, right? Especially being a goalie. Game 5. No, I'm sorry. After Game 6, my brother came into lunch. After Game 6, and I'm sorry. After Game 4, correct. After Game 4, and my brother was like, I'm like, bro, how's Bob doing? And he goes, he used the exact words. He was just like, his mind's in the shits right now. He's like,
wow.
He's like, you know how that is. His mind's in the shits. Guys, think about it. You're playing in the playoffs. Everything's going right for you. You're saving shit that cannot be saved. You are riding a wave. You are high on adrenaline every game because you have this belief in yourself. Then you go out for Game 4 and you don't lose 4-1, 4-2, 3-1, 3-2, 5-3. 8-1.
8-1.
Okay, you get spanked. Your mind just goes like in a million different directions. It's insane how mental hockey is. And like I said, I've seen it firsthand with my brother-in-law, but you have to find a way to overcome it. Next game, get spanked again. A little closer though, 4-3, right? Not the worst. If they would have played the way they played for like the last 8 minutes of the second and played the way they played in the third, we would have won that game 100%. Okay? Now we're at Game 6. Game 6 back in Alberta. If we were going to lose the game, that was going to be the game to lose, right? You have these guys now, again, the underdogs in hockey, but at the same time, Florida Panthers also have that underdog spirit because we lost the finals last year and we had a heartbreak the year before that being President's Trophies winners. So you want to talk about being an underdog, even though we had the points and like whatever, we had that spirit. And sure enough, after game 6, I was looking at the bench and I was like, fuck. I was like, these guys are beat up.
Yeah.
Barkov looked beat up. All the guys look beat up. But for some reason, and I'm not just saying this because now we won. I'm not just saying this. I was like, I don't know if we could pull it off the night before. I really didn't talk to anybody. The only person I said that to was my dad, because my dad's got this thing with reverse psychology. He thought we were going to lose. He's like, we're going to fucking lose. We're going to lose. We're done. It's over. Burn it down. Sell the team. Get rid of everybody.
Louis wanted the entire coaching staff gone.
Total Italian mindset, lives in the negative. Game 5, he was like, call your sister. Tell her to already start booking a flight to Edmonton. It's bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. I was like, all right, whatever. I woke up the next day after getting spanked, and I was like, again, after game 6, I was like, we're going to win. We're going to win by 1, but we're going to win. It's either be 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, whatever it is, but we're going to win by 1. We're going to win this thing. I don't know. I can't explain it. I really feel like a part of me, especially talking to these guys throughout the season, that their belief was really going to take over. I really think that they were unbeatable with the mindset of how much they love each other. It's like insane. And like we've talked about the last time I was on the show, I haven't seen this in a long time since Vancouver, and they came out and they played incredible hockey, shutting down every time anybody touched that puck. McDavid could do nothing game 7. Nothing.
Yeah, he ran out of gas too.
We're talking about the best player in the world. We talk about how he's basically a fucking prophet. I mean, the guy's incredible.
Yeah.
Beating them in the neutral zone, every puck battle, hitting. They were hitting like anything that was in front of them that was blue and orange. They got hit the first 10 minutes. It was just unbelievable. And I'm just so proud that they pulled it off.
No, it was absolutely great. Now, how much did you have to do with the Paul Maurice speech at the parade? It seemed like he might have extracted some ideas from you.
Playbook?
Yeah.
I'm going to send him a bill. I'll send him an invoice after, but I'm going to let him enjoy it. But no, listen, again, I know you guys, which I love that you guys are honest about, that you weren't really pumped about him in the beginning, but that guy is just...
Oh, he was marvelous, really.
I mean, did you see him pick up the Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he had to just take a minute for himself and just close his eyes for a second and just take it in. I mean, the guy is he's just magical. An intelligent man. I mean, it's almost like he watched every sports movie in the world and studied how to be an inspirational coach. I mean, this guy, I can't say enough good things about him. And I'm really happy for him that him too, after a 30-year career, he finally got to fucking win something.
Yeah. And you mentioned this, and you were talking about it does seem like every hockey team, no matter how transitional it can be, even inside of a given year, that they have, that team unity that you would like to see in other sports, and it's talked about in other sports, but I don't think it's exemplified like it is in hockey, and it becomes clear. And then totally, completely relatable bunch of guys, very level-headed for as outrageous as you have to be to play the sport.
Yeah,
it seemed like that these guys were very well grounded and composed. Even guys, I'm watching Okposo, who I don't even know if I could have told he was a Panther going into the postseason. And I'm listening to this guy going, my God, that guy is great. And sort of everything he was saying, what was repeated and expressed by everybody else, and it was really, really impressive to see. The so-called character of the team and the persona of the people that were involved.
Yeah, I mean, well, look. First off, it's even more impressive. It's easy to forget how young these guys are.
Yeah.
What's really weird for me is that now I'm older than all these fuckers. I'm like, holy shit, this is so strange. They're all young, Kachuk, 26, 27 years old. Barkey, 28 years old. Okposo, I think he's considered one of the older guys now. He's 35 for fuck's sake. But he is a class act. By the way, I've gotten to speak to him a couple times, and he's just awesome. I'm very, very pumped for him that he was able to come here. There's talks of maybe retirement. I hope he was such a pivotal part for the playoffs. He was such a great addition for the run to add to our depth. I'm hoping that he's got one more, he'll just wake up and just be like, you know what, I think I could do this one more time. Just give it one more, just for yourself. Embrace, winning and doing it with the boys again. But they are close. Hockey's a long season. What was it, 82 or 84 games, not including
82,
playoffs.
and then all of these playoff games.
A lot of travel. Think about you're on that plane most of the time, especially traveling to Canada. A lot of travel. The fact that you get a huge group of guys that get along the way they do and love each other the way they do, it doesn't happen often. I'm telling you right now, it's not just about the skill on the ice. It's about the magic that happens in that room and the belief and love they have for each other. It's just insane, the brotherhood that happens. And I'm not discrediting Barkov or Ekblad because I love these guys so much and they're huge. But it seemed like it got amped up even more when Tkachuk came here 2 years ago.
No doubt.
You have a newcomer coming in. You don't know if this guy's going to be a dick or whatnot, right? You don't know this. And this guy comes in, and he is just an exemplary. Like he exemplifies. He's such a compliment to the team of being gritty and finesse at the same time and love. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Matty Tkachuk. He's amazing, and the fact that Barkov has been a Panther since day one, and he finally gets to win the cup. You want to talk about a leader? I was the guy that was like, this guy, he's a great leader, but he doesn't have a voice.
Yep.
You know what? They're right. He just does it through his actions, man. He is a hardworking son of a bitch. He's unbelievable, and he deserves this.
Hey, he was always shoveling that puck right in front of the net there. Reinhardt should give him a piece of his salary.
Shoveling
newfound money that he got.
He's insane.
Did everything.
Yeah.
I'm all around.
You got to love the NHL too, Reno. I mean, I'm glad a lot of people in town got turned on to this because it was a sustained time where people were paying attention to it. We became experts on the game once again this year, as we do every playoff season. And you see what goes into it, how insane it is.
Crazy.
And I'm glad people got a chance to experience all of this, all of the different aspects, including this whole team unity and the way these guys approach everything. It just really was heartening to see the sport being embraced like that. And as I said, the young people at the parade had to be very encouraging for these guys. As they've been trying to catch on here and develop an identity for a long time that goes beyond. It's kind of like most of the sports here in town, where they have a loyal fan base. It just for a long time wasn't enough of them.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like they didn't have fans, but and now it seems like with this they captured the imagination of the public here, and hopefully it'll be a nice springboard for success. All right. So what next? I mean, no feature film offers. I'm really surprised by this.
Yes. Listen,
at least a scene in some mob movie, something, where, they use your restaurant and.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, nothing, no offers.
Hold on a second. First off, find me an agent, like I said. And number two, if there's a film being made, I'm fucking in it. You're not just going to use my restaurant. What are you kidding me? I'm in that shit.
Exactly.
I'm in that shit, and I'm gonna blow the socks off, dude. The next thing you know, I'm gonna be getting, I don't know, what are the awards? Emmy? No, that's for
Oscar.
sure. I don't know, Oscar.
This 15 minutes needs to expand, Reno. I mean, we need to see if this isn't a springboard for you to become a major media star.
Holy shit!
I don't know that this show will be, but maybe that would do it, right? Grating some cheese over some.
Just grating some cheese. Who would have thought, right? That's what breaks me, is just grating some cheese.
Right? Could have been a busboy that ended up doing that, but no, it was the owner himself. So it turned out great. Well, congratulations on everything. I mean, you were brilliant all season long on the NHL. We hope not to lose you because
you won't.
Yeah. Brush up on soccer or baseball or something.
Listen, don't even get me started on soccer. Italy already went home. We're a disaster. I don't even want it. Fuck it. I'm just a hockey guy.
All right, Reno. Thanks so much for getting up with us. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, boys. Love always being on. I'll see you. And if anything, I'll see you next season.
Okay, replica Stanley Cup plates. No,
that's actually the move. That's a smart idea.
The Billionaires from now on for a slight upcharge. Which would no doubt be, I mean, you can see the people already on Let's Eat South Florida.
You kidding me? They served it in the Stanley Cup and they charged me an extra 50 cents.
And like thousands of people will be responding. Well, you know what? I'll never go there. What are you talking about? They got to be kidding me. Treating the Stanley Cup upcharge as if it was the Chinese mustard, the hot mustard, the house mustard that you get. All right, Lubie. Now shenanigans. Are we heading south?
Shenanigans today.
I'm gonna head down there and say hello to the great Patrick Utter for
Cool. Nice.
all the times I've skipped out on that one. It is a little tight in there, as you say, but the food is calling my name.
Nice.
Right? I mean, great
You
stuff.
do a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, you got all kinds of
And
different
he was
stuff.
all in on the Panthers. Even we weren't there at all during the Stanley Cup, but we were there during the Rangers series when it got close. I think we were there when they were down 2-1, and he had all the faith in the world. He's tough on the Dolphins, but he was the opposite with the Panthers. He had all the belief in the world in the Panthers, and we didn't get to see him throughout that Stanley Cup finals, but I feel like he held on there, and that place must have been rocking during that Game 7. So really happy to get back with Pat and celebrate a Panthers Stanley Cup championship.
All right, very good. All right, so I'll see you down there. We'll see you there on South Florida Live, and of course the Let's Eat South Florida page. A good place to catch Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, 1:00 from one of the fine sports bar. He doesn't call it a sports bar, right?
It's a gastropub, is what we call
Gastropub. Okay. I mean, why would is a sports bar a negative distinction to characterize a place?
He calls
by?
it a sports pub, I guess. Shenanigans sports pub, I guess.
See, I don't think any negative connotations
That's
go
what
along
he
with
calls it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a sports bar.
He bristles and takes great offense, because my natural tendency is to say it's a sports bar. Like, you come there, get that type of food, I guess, but it is elevated compared to a lot of different sports bars, right? I mean, we're not talking about real pedestrian shit there. They do that, but they do it very well. But then have all kinds of stuff. The real test would be like when the seafood's really good in a place like that.
Yep.
That's always a good test to see what kind of level of quality you're getting all the way around. And Jersey Kyle, a huge advocate of the grilled mahi sandwich.
Yeah, they do a great mahi.
At Shenanigans. Yeah,
Blackens do a great job.
And you talk about reasonable. So, all right, we'll see you down there at 1:00. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, and enjoy it, people. I keep thinking, only a couple of days more to celebrate the last real Independence Day.
What's funny is the people celebrating that from that side. It's like, you understand?
Isn't that great? You're celebrating a ruling that a former president cannot be criminally charged for his activities.
When he's running that, look, if he was done forever, maybe. But the problem is, now it goes on for other presidents, and you those that'll say, well, he wouldn't do this or wouldn't do that. You can't say that anymore. He, even without that, he was pushing every limit known to man. So,
I know about the bribery and all of that that's going on. I mean, there's probably more bribery going on in the Supreme Court, essentially, than there was in the World Boxing Council in the heyday of Jose Sulaiman.
It's a joke, but they were great at staying out of shit. They never got, like, the Supreme Court would always do this.
How could they make this kind of atrocious ruling?
They never made broad sweeping things.
Yeah,
stayed out of shit, and they just accredited other smaller courts for making broad sweeping. Like, what they're doing.
I could have just sent this thing out, said, "Hey, we're not hearing this thing. You guys decided."
They've made this a third. I mean, what it will be when a president gets in there that has no conscience.
Yeah,
if Trump wins, that's what will happen. It becomes third world. That's what third world is that there's no checks and balances.
Imagine how unhinged this guy will become too. Once, it looks to me.
Free. No, he's free.
I think it's a red carpet breezing to the wire. This guy.
He knows what he knows. Now he can do literally whatever he wants. I mean, there was always maybe consequences. Now there's none. I mean, there's none. What he's trying to get the convictions thrown out. The convictions have nothing to do with his presidency. They were pre-presidency. They were before he was running. They were before he was president. There's literally no connection to his presidency and what these convictions were.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's already trying. He's already trying to do it because in his mind, they're not going to say no to him. There's no.
Holy shit. And America's behind this, huh? We really need to, blow off some explosives.
Just scary. No,
the 4th of July, shake people up. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's amazing to me. It's sad, but amazing. All right, Lubie, we'll pick up the pace there at Shenanigans in Dania. Always a great time there. Patrick Utter, always a hoot. And see you at 1:00 later on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. For Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. See you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:05.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.